Abuse. To abuse someone or something means to hurt them on purpose. The mean man abused his dog when it barked too loudly. Encounter. If you encounter something, you meet or come close to it. I encountered a sea turtle while I was swimming. Nap. A nap is a short sleep, usually during the day. I took a short nap because I stayed up late last night. Exceed. To exceed is to be more than something. Since I exceeded my limit, I decided to get rid of my credit cards. Humble. People who are humble don't believe that they are better than other people. Even though Bob is the smartest boy in his class, he is humble. Ladder. A ladder is an object that is used to climb up and down things. He used a ladder to climb to the top of his tree house. Modest. If people are modest, they don't think that they are too important. She is very modest for someone who is so rich. Occupy. To occupy a place is to live, work, or be there. Kevin and Elise occupied the chairs and had a long discussion. Prosper. To prosper is to be successful or make a lot of money. Frank's new business finally prospered after many years of hard work. Sustain. To sustain something is to keep it going. Wind power is a clean way to sustain a city with energy. Acquire. To acquire something is to gain possession of it. Tina acquired a strange package yesterday. Deceive. To deceive someone is to make them believe something that is not true. He tried to deceive his friends as they were playing a game. Afford. To afford something means you have enough money to pay for it. I have been saving my money so I can afford to buy a new bike. Discourage. To discourage someone is to make them feel less excited about something. Mr. Perry discouraged the students from quitting school. Hatred. Hatred is a strong feeling of not liking someone or something. I have a hatred for the taste of medicine. Inferior. If something is inferior, it is not as good as something else. Cars built 100 years ago are inferior to ones built today. Neglect. To neglect someone or something is to not take care of it properly. William neglected his room, so it is a complete mess. Offense. An offense is behavior that is wrong or breaks a law. Stealing a car is a very serious offense. Overlook. To overlook something is to not notice it or to not realize that it is important. Brenda overlooked the last step and had a bad fall. Repay. To repay is to pay back or to reward someone or something. She repaid her friend for all of his hard work with a small gift. Ridiculous. If something is ridiculous, it is silly or strange. Steve looked ridiculous with those huge blue sunglasses. Venture. To venture is to go to a place that may be dangerous. Even though it was dangerous, they ventured up the mountain. Disgrace. Disgrace is a feeling of shame. He felt a sense of disgrace after failing his big exam. Bake. To bake means to cook food with heat. My sister is a good cook. She bakes delicious cakes. Grateful. When you are grateful for something, you are happy that it happened. The girls were grateful to have a chance to spend time with their grandfather. Irritate. To irritate means to annoy someone. She was irritated when her brother told her that he had lost her camera. Kid. To kid is to make a joke to make someone believe something which is not true. I am not really mad. I was kidding when I said I was angry. Loose. When something is loose, it is not held in place well. The bolt was loose, so I tightened it with the wrench. Offend. To offend someone means to make them angry or upset. They were both offended by what they had said to each other. Persist. To persist means to keep doing something even when it is hard. Even though the lesson was difficult, he persisted until he understood. Pine. A pine is a type of tree that is tall and thin. There were many beautiful pine trees in the forest. Scar. A scar is a mark on the skin after a wound heals. The monster had horrible scars on his cheek and forehead. Tease. To tease someone means to laugh at or make fun of them. Jake teased Charlie because he was the new student. Compact. If something is compact, it is smaller than normal. A laptop computer is much more compact than a desktop model. Bean. A bean is a plant seed that is good to eat. There are many different kinds of beans to eat. Curl. A curl is a small piece of something with a round shape. The colorful ribbons were bent into curls. Decay. To decay is to be destroyed naturally. The old wooden house was slowly decaying. Distant. If something is distant, it is far away. Michael could barely see the distant island. Leisure. Leisure is time when you don't have to do work. My sister likes to listen to music in her leisure time. Passion. Passion is a very strong feeling of wanting to do something. She had a passion for dancing. Pulse. A pulse is the beat of the heart. The doctor checked the patient's pulse by feeling his wrist. Sneeze. To sneeze is to suddenly blow air out of your nose and mouth. He sneezed after smelling the flower. Spice. A spice is a flavor for food and drinks. Two common spices found in many homes are salt and pepper. Whistle. To whistle is to make a sound by putting your lips together and blowing. As he was listening to music, Daryl whistled. Acquaint. To acquaint is to get to know something or someone. John acquainted himself with the new computer. Arise. To arise is to happen. Difficulties arose with his computer because it was old. Symmetry. A cemetery is where people are buried when they die. Some people are scared of cemeteries. Curse. To curse someone or something is to hope that bad things happen to them. The witch cursed the village. Inhabitant. An inhabitant is a person who lives in a certain place. The number of inhabitants in the countryside is increasing. Nourish. To nourish someone is to give it food that it needs to live. A good mother will nourish her baby every day. Pirate. A pirate is a sailor who steals things from other boats. Pirates are very scary characters. Spoil. If something spoils, it turns bad or rots. We left the fruit out too long and it spoiled. Starve. If a person starves, they don't get enough to eat or sometimes die. During the war, many people starved. Thrill. A thrill is an exciting feeling. The boys enjoy the thrill of surfing a big wave. Broadcast. A broadcast is a TV or radio show. We watch the broadcast of the local news on TV. Bump. A bump is a small raised area on a surface. He got a bump on his head because he was hit by a rock. Benefactor. A benefactor is a person who gives money to help someone. The student's benefactor gave him money to spend on his studies. Chop. To chop something means to cut into pieces with a tool. Mom chopped some vegetables to put into the stew. Console. To console someone who is sad means to make them comforted. When my dog ran away, my dad consoled me. Endure. To endure something tough means to do or go through it. She had to endure her husband shouting all day long. Execute. To execute someone means to kill them as a legal punishment. Some people are executed for serious crimes. Grasp. To grasp something means to hold it. He grasped a bag of money tightly. Stir. To stir something means to mix it using something small, like a spoon. Mom stirred the batter until it was smooth. Tremendous. When something is tremendous, it is very large. The Earth's oceans are filled with a tremendous amount of water. Underneath. When something is underneath something else, it is below or lower than it. The roots of a tree are located underneath the ground. Abandon. To abandon something is to leave it forever or for a long time. The old room had been abandoned years before. Ambitious. If someone is ambitious, they want to be rich or successful. Kendra had to be ambitious to get into medical school. Blacksmith. A blacksmith is a person who makes things out of metal. The blacksmith pounded the piece of metal until it was flat. Bark. When a dog barks, it makes a short, loud noise. The dog barked loudly and frighteningly. Brilliant. If someone is brilliant, they are very smart. My younger brother is brilliant for someone his age. Chin. Your chin is the hard part at the bottom of your face. Luke pointed to the hair on his chin. Complaint. A complaint is something you say to tell people that you don't like something. Mom said she didn't want to hear my brother's complaints. Deaf. When someone is deaf, they cannot hear. John was born deaf. Mutual. If something is mutual, it is felt in the same way by two or more people. Robert likes Sarah. The feeling is mutual. Overweight. If someone is overweight, they are very fat. Roger eats too much, so now he is overweight. Refuge. A refuge is a place where you go to be safe. When it started to rain, she found refuge in the house. Anniversary. An anniversary is a day that celebrates something from the past. My parents went out to eat for their wedding anniversary. Compensate. To compensate is to pay someone for the time they spent doing something. Her boss compensated him for the extra work he did last week. Ashamed. To be ashamed is to feel upset because you did something wrong or bad. He was ashamed when he found out that I knew about his past. Burst. To burst is to suddenly break open or apart. The bomb burst over the city. Polish. To polish something is to rub it in order to make it shiny. Mark spent all morning polishing his shoes for the wedding. Sew. To sew means to put pieces of clothes together using string. I learned to sew when I was a little girl. Ail. To ail a person or group is to cause difficulty or pain. My brother went to the doctor to see what was ailing him. Ally. An ally is someone who agrees to help or support you. I was happy to find many allies who shared the same opinion as me. Boast. To boast is to talk about how good you are. We all became tired of listening to him boast about himself all day. Bully. A bully is a person who is mean to others. The two bullies always picked on the smaller, weaker kids. Crawl. To crawl is to move slowly on your hands and knees. The baby crawled across the floor. Charitable. When someone is charitable, they help people who are in need. My sister was charitable enough to help me buy my first house. Dominant. When someone or something is dominant, they are stronger than others. The gorilla is one of the dominant animals in the jungle. Opponent. An opponent is someone who fights against you. On the field, our opponents were too good for us. Quarrel. To quarrel is to argue or fight. Billy quarreled his wife about buying a new house. Rival. A rival is someone that is trying to keep you from getting what you want. The three rivals were all competing for the same job. Torture. Torture is something that causes you physical or mental pain. John thought that writing the essay was torture. Absence. An absence is the state of something being away. There is an absence of sand in the hourglass. Divorce. Divorce is an event in which a marriage is ended. Divorce rates have increased in the past 20 years. Imitate. To imitate someone is to do what exactly they do. He imitated his favorite superhero by putting on a costume. Infant. An infant is a baby. The infant cried all night. Kidnap. To kidnap someone is to take them illegally. She was terrified to find out her son was kidnapped.